This is Forever United TV. We are live on the 12th of November talking all Manchester United news coming out of Carrington right now and across all of the media outlets. There's plenty to talk about, everybody. I'm going to ask you to do one thing, and that is just talk to me. Get in the comments. What do you think about what's going on about Manchester United? We're talking Antony. We're talking Erikson. We're talking Rashford. We're talking incomings, the plan for Ruben Amorim, who might not make it, who will make it, who is going to get a second chance. I want your opinions on that in particular this morning. What wonder kid is coming into Manchester United having turned down Real Madrid? Possibilities there for Manchester United. And now that Ruben Amorim is in, what players are now looking at Manchester United in a different way? As in, maybe I could move to United rather than one of these bigger clubs. Maybe Manchester United is now moving forward. Has everything that United have done over the last 2 weeks changed the transfer outlook for United going forward as well? Is it more of an appealing project? I think is what I'm trying to ask. Get in the comments, obviously. Make sure you've given the video a like. And of course, subscribe to Forever United TV. You won't miss out on any of the juicy gossip or news surrounding your beloved Manchester United. Or if you're an opposition fan and just here for the football banter, get your opinion in from the outside. We love people looking in from the outside of Manchester United, giving their thoughts on it, because it isn't with tinted red glasses, is it? It's more on a sort of balanced outlook of things. So yes, please do, if you're not a United fan, get your comments in as well. Let's get into the show. We have to start with a conversation that has been going on over all social media last night regarding Antony. That's where I want to get into first of all. Now, I feel, and hear me out on this one, I feel that Antony, for reasons only known to me, and how I see Antony play, his attitude, his tenacity, I know you're all thinking, go on, Adam, keep trying to make him look good and trying to make something out of this player. I know, but still, the word is intensity. Fabrizio Romano has been talking quite a lot. It does look like Romano has got a little bit of an in when it comes to news around Ruben Amorim. I'm going to go through some of his quotes through this morning show as well. But it does look like Romano is in the know with things. He's already talked out certain players we're going to get onto in a minute. But Antony, Romano has said intensity is the word that is going to be big around Ruben Amorim and his approach to Manchester United. That is the key thing and what he is looking for within his squad. We know this. We watch Sporting. Everyone has been glued to Sporting Lisbon and their games over the last 3 weeks. The last 4 games, I think everybody's watched them or has done the best they can to get a hold of a stream to watch these games. And it has been full-on, intense football throughout. And the players keep on playing that way. The same players keep on playing with the same intensity constantly throughout every single game. And this is 2 games a week. This is the same as Manchester United. It's on an even higher level than Manchester United because they're playing in the Champions League as well. And it just keeps on going. You are going to have to prove yourself a lot more in front of Ruben Amorim. So the word is Antony is looking to speak to Manchester United, and if his situation doesn't improve or it doesn't look like he's getting any more game time, he's going to look to go elsewhere. He's going to look for a move away from Manchester United. An awful lot of Manchester United fans will look at that and say, I'm not bothered. I, on the other hand, I'm looking at this from a different sort of angle. I'm looking at this as a second chance for a lot of Manchester United players. It's a 5th and 6th and 7th chance in some cases, and we know what that conversation is going to have, who's going to be involved in that. But for some United players that haven't looked like they've got the right type of technique, the right type of temperament, the right type of mentality to be a Manchester United player, we don't know if this was all down to the coaching. We don't know if these players have just been completely disgruntled because of the coaching and not getting a chance at United. And we know there's a lot of players that haven't been given a chance. Antony is definitely one. For reasons everybody knows, we just don't think he's good enough, do we? It's as simple as that with Antony. But could he prove us all wrong? Could he come in as a wing-back for Ruben Amorim? Could he have that intensity? I feel like Antony has the intensity. I am wondering where the quality is going to come from. That's my only thing. And I'm being honest. I'm being completely honest. Could he be a wing-back for United? 100% I think he could. I really do. I've said it on many shows. I've said it on many reactions to games. I think he's a better defender than he is a bleeding forward. If he can figure out his end product, his passing, his decision-making in the final third, if Amorim can coach that into him, or give this team an actual plan as to this is how we do it, forget your individual skill. when we're in the middle of a move or we're in a transition period. This is what we want to do. If you're in a tight spot, the players are intelligent enough to get out of that and deal with it themselves. Don't even think the best coaches in the world would even try and tell certain players how to get out of a situation where it's maybe a 3-on-1 or something like that. That's down to their own ability and how they deal with that situation. But in transitions and actual forward thinking and how he wants to play, when the situation arises and that comes about, there is a system he wants to do, and this is how we're going to play. It's into a certain area, it's pass the ball into this area or to this player and do it this way. You can coach that into a team and get that into their heads. And do you know what? Try Antony on the bleeding left-hand side. Put him out on the left as a left wing-back if you're desperate. It sounds crazy. I know there's a lot of people right now in the chat. I'm trying not to look at them because I know you are slagging me off, but I am going to come to him in a minute. Not slagging me off, sorry. Having a sort of disagreeing with me, as Kaz would say, criticising me. I've got to stop using the word slagging off because it's a bit too brutal, apparently. And I'm not. I'm just criticising. That's all I'm doing. But Antony, I've just put him on left wing-back. Let's see what he can do. He's got the engine. He's got the bite. He's got the temper. He'll always stick his foot in. He'll get involved. He'll definitely put the work rate in. If anything, you cannot fault Antony for his work rate. And I'm just trying to build a case from the other side with Antony here because he's not going yet. We've got a couple of months before the window. And if he has a few games where he does a job for United, then you may think of it, you may look at him in a different way. Yeah, we've brought him in as this so-called creative Brazilian winger. The Brazilian tag is there. His record at Ajax looked good. Under Ten Hag is going to get the best out of him because he's the one who brought him through at Ajax. Really? Could we have misprofiled him? Could he be playing in a different way at Manchester United? 100% I think he can be playing in a different role. And do you know what? Even if Antony doesn't start games, and there's a moment like what Ruud van Nistelrooy did where you can see a player flagging, you can see Dalot looking a bit tired or something like that on the left-hand side or wherever's out there or on the right-hand side, can Antony come in and do a job for half an hour and help that player rest? Yes, of course he can. And will he feel like he's part of something? Well, at first, he may not think that this is right for him still coming on off the bench, but then you look at him building on top of that and getting more and more impact into a game, just easing him in, then you may get a player there that starts to feel a little bit more confident, and maybe we can get more out of him. Look, I know what you're all saying. I know there's no room for Antony. I know that his quality is not there, and that's what a lot of opinion is around Manchester United fan base, but have we given him a run of games to prove himself? Has he had 5 or 6 games like a lot of these players have to actually find a little bit of form? There's a lot of people, and I have said this before myself, when it comes to actually giving a toss and actually working hard, then I think I'd rather have Antony in the team than Rashford at times. Obviously, Rashford's end product is 20 times what Antony's is. It really is. But sometimes you just look in a game and you just see work rate from certain players and you look at what's on the bench or what could be being done with another player in that position, and you would say, yeah, do you know what? I think he could do something there. I think we are going to get more out of him. And if a player gets a little bit more game time, you could obviously then build up that little bit of confidence within him, and you might get a little bit more, is all I'm saying. So that is my argument for Antony and what Ruben Amorim might see. Now it's down to the player himself. Is he going to just mope around and sulk because he's not getting game time? If he gets that chance off the bench, it is reported, and a lot of sporting fans have said the same thing, that attitude in training is a lot with Amorim as well. Obviously, I'm not as keen on attitude in training. It's all about what happens on the pitch. Can you handle it mentally? That's the biggest thing for me. But still, looking at what we have got in our squad right now, I'm confident, and I'm confident that some of the players like Antony can still contribute this season in a way. And yes, look, what has happened before, and this is where I've got to draw a line on this before I come to the comment section on Antony first of all. Antony was at Ajax. It wasn't his fault that United and Murto, in his wonderful wisdom of how business should be done, gave 85 million for him. 85 million. That is not on Antony. That's not him. He is a 25, 30 million pound player at best. We all know it. It's the same scenario, and I don't want to put Maguire into the category, but again, with the big price tag, United overspending what they should. We shouldn't have spent that money. We shouldn't have been giving him them wages. It's ridiculous how much money Antony is on for what he is and where he came from. And it is all down to Murto. It's down to Ten Hag for picking the profile of player, and it's down to Murto for overpaying for him. Between them, and now they're out of the football club, you have to look at it that way, surely. You have to look at this and say, look, Ten Hag and Murto made the Antony mistake. They're gone. So it clearly was a mistake because it's not worked at Manchester United, and the decision makers at this football club now have been flirted, and there's a new system in place. But you've still got to deal with what you've got. Can you make the best out of a bad situation? Can you look at Antony and just look at him as a player without the price tag, without the Brazilian sort of so-called flair that we was expecting, and see what you can get out of him? What are his attributes and what can you get from him within a system in Ruben Amorim? And yeah, it is a lot of money to be paying a player, but are we going to keep on looking back at the mistakes that the club made, or look from this point right now and say, we have got to get the maximum out of every single player? And sometimes it's not the worldy goals. It's not the great Brazilian dribbling skills and runs and absolutely tearing teams apart in defence. Sometimes you have to rediscover yourself. And Antony, I feel, has to go down this road. Otherwise, his time at Manchester United is up. And the talk that he has been not happy about getting game time and wants to speak to Manchester United all over the news and media this morning is, I think, right. Like, he needs to find another football club. But can we get maximum out of him under Amorim and get a different and give a different approach to it? Of course we can. We can find something, can't we? We have to, I feel, because we cannot spend money in January. We have to be very careful with what we've got. But if you've got a system there and you've got attributes in players that you can find, I say go for it. And you know what? Play him out on left wing back. He can bomb up and down that wing all day long. He can definitely give support to defence. He can give support up front. His end product needs working on. Maybe we could coach that into him. But there's always a chance for players, I feel. And I just feel like the mistake was made when we bought him in the first place. But what can we do? What can we do now? Nobody wants him. So let's try and make a player out of him in a different way. And then maybe he will move on. Maybe we will get a little bit of money back. But right now, we cannot be looking at Antony, Ruben Amorim. We can't be looking at Ineos as to the reason why this is all happening. We have to just draw the line right there when Ten Hag and Murto left and say, look, you've made a mistake and you've left us with this mess. We're just trying to make the best of it. I feel like that's where we're at with Antony. And I feel like there is half a chance he could actually make it in a certain position. Not what we expected or what we was hoping, but a little bit of something. Something is better than nothing right now. And if it is just, and I'm going to go over this again, sorry, but I just need to get this across. If it is just him coming on and giving a little bit of a rest in maybe a Europa League game for a player like Dalot or Mazraoui at wing-back or someone up top, whatever, and giving them that little bit of a rest to come in and do a job, then that's what squad players are for. And he may discover something. Look, it is a big charm offensive for Antony. I get it. And I know you can shoot me down with it all you want. But I'm just giving an option there as to how we could actually get more out of a certain player. And I just don't think he's dead. I don't think he's completely dead. And I think there is half a chance we could utilise him in a different way. Let's get into the chats. Double A's in the room. Double A, how are you, mates? Loving them little pictures from over in Italy, pal. That looked like a great trip, that. I didn't even know you was out there, mate. But he has said in the chat, look at Joe Linton at Newcastle. Came in as a striker and was transformed into a really good midfielder. And let's see what Amorim can do with Antony. That is an amazing comment. That is a great point from Double A right there. That's exactly what I'm getting at. And I do you know what? If you don't agree and you just give up on him, it's totally fine. I've not got an issue with that at all. And I get it. I really do. But I just feel sometimes changing of the guards, a completely different look, a completely different approach can sometimes discover and find things. And Antony's right. He needs to find another club unless things change. But I think he has to want to change as well if he wants to be part of this. It's not all about the glitz and the glamour and the big goals and the fancy footwork and being in the limelight. He's not that player, I don't think. But I think there is something in there that can be utilised, definitely. And that's what I want to see. Greg with a super chat says, I agree. I think Ruben will get more out of Antony. There is always ways, isn't there? There is. Antony has not shown much, but did backtrack more than Rashford, says Karsten. Yes, he did. How can we make something of that? That's what I'm trying to say. It couldn't get much worse under anyone, says Alex. Agree. Yes. But like we said before, yesterday was a big day. Van Nistelrooy is left, Ruben Amorim is in, and Manchester United are looking forward. Ruud steadied the ship, and we have got options. Nearly every single player is fit. When we come back from international break, Kobbie Mainoo, Lenny Yoro, Tyrell Malacia, and Luke Shaw are all going to be available for Ruben Amorim. Let that sink in. For one, there are massive of options, and if we're going to play intense football, you need everyone. And I mean everyone in this squad. And I'm even talking about the Harry Maguires playing in this back three. I'm talking about Johnny Evans. Lindelof will have to play his role. And then when we get to the back end of the season, these players are all going to be gone. And that's where the structure and that's where the recruitment side comes in. We can utilise what we've got. Top four is an option for us this season. We can make it with this team we've got. Everybody is stop-start at the moment. If United can pick up here and get right into this, then we are definitely going to be fighting for that top four. I don't care what anybody says. I do care what you say, obviously, because I love you all and it's a great community here on FUTV. But no one's going to convince me that United cannot go for top four. But that's what the shows are all about, aren't they? A bit of debate and a bit of opinions flying around and disagreements. That's what we like. That's what we like. Antony in a swap deal for Sporting player is the best option for him, in my opinion. He could be used in a swap for someone. Who wants to take him? Who wants to take him? Antony can work on the left wing, says Christian. Again, another one agreeing with me, saying put him out on the left. Joe H says, not many teams outside Prem can cover Antony's wages. It's going to be another loan deal, and we can cover most of his wages or utilise him and get him in the team and help this intensity football come through at United because he can come in and give other players a rest. I'm just saying, he doesn't have to leave. Utilise him. Use what he has got, which is an engine. He's young. He's got an engine on him. He will get up and down that pitch. If you're looking for a profile of a wing-back, I think you've got one. I do. I think he does understand the tracking back and the defensive side of the game. And I think it's better than his forward play. I actually do believe that he can cover one of the wing-back positions. Not a dead cert every single week and a guaranteed starter, but still, I think he can definitely help this squad. Hi Adam, I think there's a decent chance that Antony could evolve into a wing-back. He always puts in a shift and is tenacious, but I don't think he'll buy into that. I think he will go on loan. See, that's the bit. That's the one. It's up to Antony. It is up to Antony to make it happen for him. Does he want to be part of a team, or does he want to be the superstar that he thinks he is? Does he believe in his price tag and the hype? That's what has to be. Well, that's down to him, isn't it? That's totally down to him and his mindset. I've got a few super chats in. I'm just going to get through right now. Thank you for that first one, Greg. Genius here says, no more inverted crap. Just get wing back to the line and cross. No more of this cutting inside. Play him on the left, definitely. But totally agreed. Yeah, I'm so excited not to see inverted wingers and inverted fullbacks. Absolutely buzzing to see that. Sai says, any chance of going back to that other channel? No, I'm afraid not, mates. That ship has sailed. You got Roz says, if Shaw is actually healthy again, they need to put him into some kind of chamber now so he doesn't get hurt again before the window opens in the summer. I understand that as well. I do. Do you know what? Like, if you're trying to nurture, say, for instance, thank you for all of them super chats, everybody. If you're trying to nurture or ease Luke Shaw in, this is where Antony comes in for me. He can give him that one game a week. If Luke Shaw can only play 60 minutes, 70 minutes, right, and then you can bring a sub on, and then that next game you need to use someone else, then utilise it. You're going to have to rotate. There's going to have to be a massive rotation because we all know that these players, 11 of them, cannot play 2 games a week at Ruben Amorim intensity. Romano has also come out and said that he will 100% go straight in with a back three. So they're going to have to get used to it straight away. He's going full bore, and United fans, I feel patience is going to be key with this one because when he goes in with that back three, he definitely is going to... Well, do you know what? I actually feel like the back three itself is going to work. I think the wing-backs are the part of this game that we're going to have to get used to. But how difficult can it be? The professional footballers, they know what it's like to play on international duty in a different system. They will have done it before. If you're a wing back, you bomb forward, you bomb back. Have you got the engine? There are players in this team that have got that. Can you be that intense? Can you play at that intensity? That Ruben Amorim wants. The back three, I think, are more than comfortable. Martinez plays in the back three. I think Lenioro is comfortable in the back three. Harry Maguire is good in the back three. Matthias de Ligt has been playing superb this season. I don't think he's going to have any issue at all in adapting to that. I don't think we're going to have any problem at all with the three centre-backs. I think they will seamlessly slot in. I think they've just got to get used to the wing-backs going up and down the wing. We've seen Martinez playing a lot more on the wing this season. So, yeah, I do believe that is... I think that is definitely something that he can put in straight away. And there's no excuse. There is no excuse. Okay, I'm just getting through a couple of comments here right now as well. There's some more news coming in I'm going to bring up. We're going to talk about Christian Eriksen next and Mason Mount, actually, because there's some stories around them as well. But great, I hope you're well, mate. Get well soon, buddy. I know you're not in the chat. I know you're not feeling up for it today. He's one of our mods. Hope you're feeling better soon, buddy. And... a few more comments coming in on Antony. As long as the wing-backs track back and cover in this system, they will be fine. A lot of running, but Erik ten Hag left them exposed too much at the back. Yeah, I think tactically, Ten Hag absolutely blew a gasket. He did. I think he got it completely wrong at United, and I think everybody can see that. So, really, when you look at what Ten Hag was trying to do with the players that we've got, we just didn't have the right profile player. He was a complete misprofile. I look at Christian Eriksen, for instance, and Romano has come out and said again that intensity is big, and, for instance, he does not see Christian Eriksen staying at Manchester United. I think that's a little bit unfair on Christian Eriksen, to be honest. That man has been an absolute world beater for us this season, and his quality has shone through in a shower of shit that has been Manchester United's performances this season. And I don't want to tarnish him with the same brush as some of these players. And I want to make that point very clear at the start here. Christian Eriksen is not an intense player. No, he's not. He's at that age now where he probably can't run that much at that sort of intensity continuously for 2 games a week. But what he has done has definitely held his head high and has definitely embarrassed a lot of these senior and other players at Manchester United this season. He has been the ultimate professional, and he deserves his credit beyond. I think it's an obvious one, and I think Romano's threw him under the bus a little bit, personally. I think with him and his contract running out, and it's just an obvious one for Romano to say, look, Christian Eriksen, I can't see him making it. I mean, to be honest, that's like saying Real Madrid will be a League 2 side. I think they're going to win. Yeah, of course they are. And of course he's going to leave. But everyone knows that Christian Eriksen's probably going to leave this summer. And for Romano to say, bring in the intensity factor and say, for instance, I can't see Christian Eriksen surviving this, I think it's kind of a low blow, to be honest. I mean, Eriksen is not he's a different type of player to that. And yeah, of course, we all know that Christian Eriksen is going to be leaving Manchester United. His contract is up. So he's going anyway. I just want to make sure that with all of the news and everything going around, it's not put across in a way that Christian Eriksen just cannot play in a system. I think he was going anyway. And he deserves his praise, Christian Eriksen. And I don't want people to just be thinking he just can't hack it with this new manager and he can't hack a new system. I reckon he could. I reckon there's a place for him. But we all know he's going to be leaving anyway, so let's not make a big deal out of it. And thank you, Christian Eriksen. He's been an absolute brilliant player this season, and I think he will still play a part for us. His calmness on the ball and composure is unmatched in Manchester United's side. And you know what? There was a part of me that thought, you know what, when we're looking at this sort of false nine shadow striker under Amorim and his system, I thought Christian Eriksen would have been perfect for it. You know what? If the strikers are not cutting it, play Bruno Fernandes up front, Christian Eriksen behind him, or Mason Mount, because there is another story coming out as well, and this has come from The Sun. Mason Mount is set to play a key role under Amorim at Manchester United. Now, we know that Mason Mount has got the intensity to play in his game. He is one of the press masters and will run all day long. The question is, and this is going to open up Pandora's box when it comes to players with injuries right now, and you know what everyone's going to say. It's going to be great, and everyone will say, look, everyone's back, everyone's playing well, look what's happening. But why all of a sudden have all the injuries disappeared? And that conversation will go on its own. But maybe just maybe, when we were talking about it under Erik ten Hag's period at Manchester United, about how he was training these players and what he was doing to these players, all of a sudden, we're not hearing about any training. And it's only 3 weeks, since Erik's gone, near enough or something like that. But there's no injuries. There's not one new injury come through since Ruud van Nistelrooy's taken over. Everybody's coming back fit. Why all of a sudden has everybody started to become fit again? And Mason Mount, I'm not saying this is down to him, or he's one of these players that just didn't agree with Ten Hag, and all of a sudden, now that he's gone, he wants to play more. I think Mason Mount would work in a Ten Hag system if he was fit. Can Mason Mount stay fit? That's the ultimate, and it's a black hole. No idea. Absolutely no idea if Mason Mount will stay fit. Like any player, you don't know. Injury records are there, and everybody can go into him, and you can obviously judge off that if you want. But no one expected Lenny Yoro at 18 to be out for 4 months with a broken foot. Injuries happen. Just to answer you, Joe, there in the chat, yes, Lenny Yoro is back in training. He has been back now for a week. So another 2 weeks now over international break, getting closer and closer. I don't think he's going to start against Ipswich. I don't think he'll be fully ready, but he will be available. Let's just put it that way. Andrew says, Mount is a decent player, but you need to be fit, unfortunately. If you're not, you are gone. If you're not, you're gone. Yeah, again, like I just said, Mason Mount, will he stay fit? I think he's the right type of player that fits a Ruben Amorim system. But you've got Bruno Fernandes, and that brings in Bruno to the equation. All of a sudden, 2 players playing in the same position with the same intensity in Bruno and Mason Mount, because I think they have, you have to decide between one of them. Whereas you would rather have someone like Mount in Rashford's position. Now, it's interesting that Mick Brown, again, former Manchester United scout, has been coming out and talking about Marcus Rashford and him possibly being open for sale. Like, Ruben Amorim will look at Rashford like he will every single player and see if they fit in. Now, we know Rashford's intensity is definitely not up there with what Ruben Amorim needs. We know it. Will he change under Amorim? I don't know. He's had loads of managers and it's not worked under any of them for Marcus Rashford. He's had the odd season here and there where it's worked under a certain manager, but inconsistency is not what Ruben Amorim is looking for right now. He's obviously looking for the obvious, which is more consistency in these players. He hasn't got time. He hasn't got time to be trying to nurture players through periods again. Let's hope we can bring it back, which is why I wanted to bring Antony up. He's got a few months to decide whether he wants to be this player that's going to work in a system or he wants to be the superstar. I think Rashford's the same. Are you going to be part of a squad and just another number? Because nobody's bigger than any other player when it comes to a Ruben Amorim system. You can see that at Sporting right now. Everybody has the same sort of job and task to do. Do your bit in your area, but there's not one player bigger. Yeah, certain players will get highlights and more of the limelight, like Gyökeres, because he's scoring the goals, but he's the best finisher at their club, and he's there, and he's obviously in the spotlight because he's scoring goals. But he works just as hard as every other player on that pitch. And if you don't, you're out. It's as simple as. And the report is from United Districts on their page, and former employee at United, Mick Brown, has said that Manchester United will be open for a transfer of Marcus Rashford and open to offers for the forward this summer if it comes to it, and Ruben Amorim is not impressed with what he sees from now until the end of this season. So there is a big chance that he could be out of Manchester United come the summer if he doesn't pull his finger out. 2 years into that new contract that he's got on absolute mega money, Ineos won't think twice. They didn't give Rashford this contract. If he's underperforming and he's costing us 350 grand a week wages and Amorim can't use him, then Rashford will be up for sale. There's no ifs or buts about it. They have to be cutthroat and brutal. Super chat in from Block N2410. With all the players fit, who are your 3 starters at centre-back? That's an easy one for me. That would be Martinez on the left. I would have Yoro in the middle. And I would have De Ligt on the right. I would have Yoro in the middle because I feel in an Amorim system, that middle centre-back roams forward. I think he is the best player on the ball at the back. And he is used to bringing the ball forward. That's how he played at Lille. And I feel like he will be utilised that way. That would be my back three anyway. I think he fits it perfectly. We have over 1,000 in the room. Please make sure you have subscribed to Forever United TV and make sure that you have hit the like button as well, everybody. Thank you so much for all of them likes. Thank you for all your comments. Keep them flying in. We've got plenty to get through yet. Some interesting stuff on the transfer side of things. But get into the comments section as well. We have got a poll running right now on Antony. Can Antony improve and stay at United under Amorim? 52% of you have said no. 48% of you feel like there is still a chance for Antony. I don't want it to just be what I said about him and trying him out at wing-back and building a case for him. You make your own mind up and get into that poll and let me know what you feel. Because I think that Antony has definitely still got a role to play at Manchester United. It's whether or not it's the role he wants to play. That's the key in all of this. And this is the challenge that Amorim has got. Rashford wants to be the superstar. Antony wants to be that superstar. Bruno wants to be the focal point in that position. If he tells them that he's got other ideas for them, are they going to fall in line? If they don't, then they're out of the door. I think that's the way that it's going to go with Amorim at Manchester United. But yeah, cheers for all the super chats that are coming in as well. Antony can track back as well. Keep him away from goal. He will be a solid player, I think. It's weird, isn't it? You bring a forward in and he turns out to be something else. Double A said it a minute ago. Joe Linton was brought in as a striker and absolutely flopped. But he's been transformed into a very, very good central midfielder who is integral to Eddie Howe and his Newcastle side now. Things can change and things can happen. And a lot can be learned, I feel, of new managers coming in on a different approach. And let's see what Amorim can get out of Antony and everyone else at Manchester United. Moving on to transfers and what is going on with United's look. Obviously, we've spoken about the obvious, but there is another rumour going around, and we have touched on this before. The new Luka Modric. This has come from Patrick Berger from Sky Germany, who has said Manchester United are reportedly among the clubs interested in a potential transfer move for Dynamo Zagreb youngster Martin Baturina. I think I've said that right. Baturina, hopefully I have. Who is said to have already turned down Real Madrid. The 21-year-old looks a huge prospect, and it's not too surprising to see there are plenty of top clubs eyeing him up at the moment. According to journalist Patrick Berger, Baturina has rejected an approach from Real Madrid, but has also interest from other big names like Man United, Barcelona, while he could be available for a fee of just 25 million euros. He's contracted at Zagreb until 2028, but obviously they cannot drive a hard bargain. He is a player I think Ineos would look at. This structure would look at a player like Baturina. I feel like that's the type of player, the profile. 21, already playing first team football, as we know. I know it's only Croatia, but Modric started at Dynamo Zagreb. You've got to find these players. You have to have the best scouts out there. You have to have that recruitment team in there. Christopher Vivel could play a key part in signings like this for Manchester United going forward. You've also got to bring into the factor that he plays in the same role that a Mount, Erikson, Bruno Fernandes does. He's that attacking creative midfielder again. Yes, he can drop off and play in other little roles, but when you look at the Amorim system, I feel like Ugarte and Mainu have got the sort of holding 8 and 6-ish sort of roles down. And then you're all looking at that forward line again. He's going to have to make big cuts, Amorim. If he wants to bring anyone in that's going to have an instant impact, some players have got to go. We just touched on Christian Eriksen obviously being a player that's going to be leaving Manchester United because his contract is up. And I don't think they're going to renew it. But Bruno Fernandes, Mason Mount, decisions need to be made, because if them players are going to play, then it's pointless looking at Baturina. It's pointless looking at these younger players coming in. If you're going to be spending your money, which we haven't got a lot of, on players in the summer, they have to be playing an integral part to what's going on in that team and in the first team and in the first 11. Otherwise, don't spend it. You know what I mean? Like, it has to be improving the first team, because the first team is going to get you to the Champions League. If you're not replacing someone in that first team, then there's no point. And this is why this next 6 months is absolutely vital for Manchester United. It's crucial, in fact, that Ruben Amorim is that cutthroat in getting rid of players. If you don't want to fall in line, and all of this show has done is built up to this point right now, Antony, Rashford, Bruno, Mount, all these players that we've talked about this morning, if you don't want to fit into Amorim's system and you don't like it, he has profiled you in a different way and wants to play you in a different position in this team, then you go. And that's down to Ineos, because then you're looking at bringing in more players that will. But if you are still going to be putting them other players in that we talked about there in Bruno, Mount, Rashford, Antony, all of these players, if you're still going to be trying to fit them in and make them work, then what is the point in making a transfer for a player like Batterino coming in? He is an absolute baller. He's a great player. We don't know at the highest level what he's going to be like, but that's the recruitment side of things, and that's the potential coming in. If Amorim thinks that he is going to be the player he can work with more in his system, then he has to be in the starting lineup. It has to be players that he trusts can do a certain job. And this is where he has to get rid of certain players at United if they're not cutting it. They've got a chance. If they cannot pick up on Amorim ball within 6 months, then they will be replaced. That has to be how Manchester United are looking at it right now. And I think how Ineos are looking at it. Otherwise, you're done. It's not going to work. We're going to have the same old problems again. And the fear of most Manchester United fans will be there again. It's the same old players failing another manager. It's not working. It has to be that brutal, I feel. Almost at 200 likes. Thank you, everybody. Please like, please subscribe to Forever United TV. Keep them comments coming in. I'm coming to the comment section now. Let's see what else we've got. The Amorim system sounds like something from Star Wars. That's it. Cutthroat. Brutal. Let's go for it. Andrew says, I think the end of this season, Rashford has only 1 year left on his contract. I don't know, actually. Signed a new one, didn't he? So I don't think that's the case. I'm not sure, actually. I have to double check that, Andrew, actually. But I will actually pick up on that for later and see. Director of football, Mainu might be moved forward. True. He's actually a very composed finisher. Mainu was an attacking midfielder in United's under-21s. Again, has been moved in and changed into a different type of player. Kind of like what we were saying, but I feel like Mainu, instead of being used the right way straight away, has just been squashed into that number 8 role. I just feel like it is, again, how Manchester United have been run. And I don't think that every player has been utilised the right way. I really don't. Batterino is a baller. I'm biased as a Croatian and would love to see him at Man United. Zek TV, thanks for that. So is he the new Luka Modric? Let us know firsthand from the Croatia side of things. According to the reports from what I'm reading, he is being built up to be the next Luka Modric. He's on the same pathway, obviously, from Dynamo Zagreb, where Luka Modric started his career. He is thought to be just as good. Even Luka Modric himself, if I'm right in thinking, has said that this kid is going to be absolute quality and has urged Real Madrid to sign him. I think that was a report that I was touching on back in the transfer window, back around July, August time, actually. So that is something that Manchester United will definitely be interested in looking at, I feel. But Amorim said he won't change things immediately. He needs time, so we have to wait and see how he integrates our boys. Andrew, apparently, according to Fabrizio Romano, is going right in with 3 at the back. And who are we to disagree or question Fabrizio Romano? I'm only joking. But I think he has to. I think he has to go right in with the 3 at the back. Look, it's pointless trying to make these players feel comfortable with their old system and just fall into their trap. You have to be in it from the off. The only manager to do this was Louis van Gaal. He changed it instantly as soon as he walked through the door. And that was with that side. Yeah, and we all know what that side was. That failing one from David Moyes. The nightmare that we had there. And he's the only one that implemented the system at Manchester United. You could say it's the wrong one, but he had the plan. And you could see that plan working for him. And he was sacked for a lot less. A lot less than what the likes of Ten Hag was at Manchester United. Another problem is he is too selfish. Most parts of the match, and he isn't a good finisher. But he is like that because we signed him for 80 million, and he just wants to score goals. That on Antony, says Lance there. I get that. I do get that, actually. Like, if you profile a player up to be this big signing, then in his head he's obviously thinking that he is this superstar as well, and he starts playing that way, and he starts sort of acting that way on the pitch. Like, he may think he's better than what he is. Like, if you were signed for 85 million, you would feel pressure to do certain things, wouldn't you? You would feel the pressure to actually do more, or try and do things that you probably wouldn't normally do. Look, he's got all the tricks, he's got all the flicks, but that doesn't fly in the Premier League. You get found out very, very quickly, and he has been found out to be one of a one-trick pony. And that's, sadly, what he's been, that's the brush he's been tarnished with now. He is a one-trick pony. But I feel like, again, going back to what we said at the start of the show, there are things that he could do that work for Amorim. And right now, until we sell him, utilise them. That's all I'm saying with it. That's all I'm saying around Antony. I think he can be used and used positively. Let me know what you think about Batterino, if you think he's the right type of profile of player to bring in as well. Mason Mount, where does he fit in? What's wrong with my left eye? It's black. That's what's wrong with my left eye. A football injury from last week. So yes, I haven't been lamped or anything like that. It's just something that happened on a football pitch, I'm afraid. Ravel says Inacio and the best progress the ball, carries and passing, not in the middle. Centre back at Sporting, the player usually steps into the middle and plays safe passes for ball retention. No, Agate drops back in to cover the centre back. That's how it works. The centre back comes forward if it is a low block and adds to the midfield, so they play an extra man in midfield. If we've got a press, that player can be the ball carrier. Agate will cover the centre-back when he carries the ball out if we dissect the press. There are a few ways that he works it. And I feel like Lenioro's the best player at centre-back for Manchester United to be in the middle. I think he is the ball carrier. Because he starts off with three players deep, like deeper than the 6-yard box, passes out wide from the goalkeeper, and they build from deep. And if the press is there, that's how they utilise it. One of the fullbacks comes a little bit further in centrally from the other side, from wherever the keeper passes it, the opposite way. And that's how they work it. The centre-back steps forward if needed. And then you've got that extra fullback in midfield as well, just in that initial phase, if the opposition do come in with the press, if that makes sense anyway. Mr. Dacius Sandero says, if Mason gets 100% fit, where will he fit in, Adam? For me, I don't think we needed him at all at the time. But he's a very good player. History tells us that can he get in the team now? That's, another question that only Ruben Amorim can answer. And you have to look at what Mason Mount's attributes are. His age, he's younger than Bruno. Will he stick around to be Bruno's replacement? Will we get another player in, like Batterina from Zagreb? Will it be an Angel Gomez player? Which one would you rather have? The free signing in Gomez? Who knows Manchester United? Some people think he's a bit lightweight and will be overrun. Batterino isn't much bigger, and these are what these type of players are. So what is the best option for United? And I think going forward, it will be transfers like Batterino. It will be these players that are sort of the unknown, players that we don't really know too much about, but have bags and bags of potential that will work in a system. It's not going to be Galactico superstar signings for United ever again. You could say that Gyökeres is that because of his price tag if we do go for him in the summer. But if it was me, I would be going for Gyökeres in the summer 100%. I would be looking to buy lesser players, good players, good potential players on the right money. You need that focal point. His whole system works off having a goal-scoring powerhouse striker, doesn't it? It has worked all the time. That's why he went for Gyökeres from Coventry. He could see the potential in the player. Maybe he could turn Rasmus Højlund this season yet. We don't know. That's all got to come out. Like I said, 6 months of Amorim ball for this United squad. Let's see what they can do. Let's see if they can step up to the mark. And then we'll make a judgment at the end of the season. Hopefully, anyway. Super chat in from You Got Ross. Thank you, mate. Some of these players are going to step up and take advantage of the clean slates Amorim is giving this squad. Some will not, but oh man, either way, I want to see it. Yeah, I think that's a good way of looking at it. Definitely. It's like, I'm looking forward to seeing who has got it in them to actually move up and take the bull by the horns. This second chance. That's what I think everybody and every United fan is looking at and hoping for. And hopefully we do get it. Hopefully we do get a reaction. And that is our morning show, everybody. Well over 1,100 in the room with us there then. Thank you for all the super chats and contributions. Absolutely love that. Make sure you please do subscribe to Forever United TV. If you are watching later, the link is right on the screen there right now in the top corner. Check out the other content on the channel as well from yesterday. And I will see you all later on today with all of your updates as the day goes on. I'm at Huddersfield tonight watching the under-21s as well, so more content coming your way later as well. Thank you, everybody. I will see you all in a bit. Like, share, subscribe.